listen, the whole thing still is just the weirdest draft I've ever seen. And that, again, involves Laramie Tunsil having a Pineapple Express gas mask on and getting hosed by somebody who put a bunch of DMs out there. But that lasted one day.
Yeah.
Honestly, we had the page turned in that Chicago draft the next day because that was just a night one situation. And Shedeur Sanders' draft lasted 3 days. Unreal. And left him in a spot for a team that had 6 shots at drafting him. It didn't. Had a 5th round pick at taking him. Didn't. Then used their last pick to move up in the 5th round to end their draft by taking him. And one of the shots that they had to take him, they drafted Dillon Gabriel instead. So, I mean, you're hearing like, hey, the Browns were trying to move up to the 4th round to take him. Oh, really? Because you had a 5th round pick you didn't use on him. So you clearly couldn't have moved up into the 4th. Well, the value was so great, you didn't take him the first shot you had to take him in the round you actually took him. Nuts.
It's weird.
But as you know, that's just hopefully for Shedeur and the Browns a footnote. Unless Dillon Gabriel's the guy. Unless Kenny Pickett is the guy. Because Joe Flacco, as we all know, is not the guy for the Browns long term. Because he's long in the tooth. But now that their numbers have been assigned, it's officially a competition. That's the first step. You're drafted, then you choose your number. And Shedeur has chosen Tom Brady's number.
Oh, look at that.
Or he was assigned that number.
I don't know.
Why wouldn't he take 2?
Because 2 has already been assigned, and the last thing you're going to do when you show up to a spot like this is say, I want a certain number.
Yeah.
And that number's already taken. In the wide receiver room, I might add. And Shedeur's got 12. Dillon Gabriel's got 5. Pickett has 8, I believe. And Joe's keeping 15. He's getting it back. And it's amazing. The guy who isn't the answer long-term is 100% the guy that's going to be on the roster out of these 4. Hey, folks, Flacco's making this team unless he is completely fallen apart at the seams. Because he's a guy that Kevin Stefanski can look at and say, you don't need the reps. I'm sure they've already seen him throw. You don't need the reps. We'll give you some reps. Because, I mean, obviously, you know, you can't just come off the couch and wait a minute. Okay, you can. That was 2 years ago, though.
Is he going to start a preseason game, you think?
No. I wouldn't start him a preseason game.
No?
Mm-mm. When you got to start, I mean, you've seen what he can do. You know what he's going to do unless he's just completely lost
He's
it.
40. We don't know if he can move.
It's true.
But he's not going to start the season, one would think, unless somebody like Pickett or a rookie completely doesn't win it. Then he will start the season, and you'll see it. Then you'll move on. But if you got 2 rookies around there, you want somebody like Flacco to have them see and what's up.
Yep.
And if he's so willing to impart wisdom, then so be it. But the competition has begun because the first step has taken place, and that's choose your number or have it assigned. You know?
Yeah, DeAndre Carter is wearing number 2.
There you go. And then, could you imagine Shedeur's like, hey, I've got all this NIL money, DeAndre. Let me get 2. I got to have 2. I got to have my number for this competition. What a misstep that would be. Do you know what an absolute media feeding frenzy there would be? Just take a look at what's going on with Abdul Carter and his number. That he asked LT apparently for 56.
Not going well
and
for
LT basically told him, do you know who I am? Google me. You're not just the videos. Okay? Pound sand with 56. And then 11 is a famous number in Penn State lore. Micah Parsons wears it for the Giants. Phil Simms has that number for retired for the Giants. And apparently Phil was like, you know what? I'll give it to you, you know, if you earn it. You know, you got to play hard and then you can have my 11. And his family apparently said, no, Dad. Yeah. This is a legacy that we're thrilled for you. And we're happy to have our children and our children's children say, that's grandpa, that's great-grandpa.
Pretty generous by Phil, though.
But Phil apparently put it up for a vote, and it got vetoed by the Sims family. And in New York, everyone's like, okay, kid, you're great. We're excited to have you, but what are you doing? Like, choose your number, make your own legacy. So you imagine if Shedeur Sanders said, I need my two. I need my two, and I got the money to pay for it.
Probably would have been a smart business decision by DeAndre Carter to take that deal.
Absolutely.
But
Bad for Shedeur.
Anything that Shedeur does, if he just twitches or breathes in the direction of being focused on something other than winning this job and winning a roster spot and being as humble as it possibly can be for anybody in the history of humility or humbleness, which is my nickname from Dion.
Wait till those
as the humble host, it would be an absolute feeding frenzy.
Just looking at the Giants roster, I'm trying to see what's available. 4 is available. 7.
7's
where in Cleveland you're talking about?
No, just Giants.
Oh, for the Giants. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Or Abdul.
Who knows? He can wear 4 one day and 7 another day because that equals 11, his number he wanted. I don't know. It's crazy, man.
10 is Eli. That's obviously another. 11, but 12 is available.
I don't know. But just go take the number and just build your own legacy.
The City Chiefs, they've appeared in the DM for one of these top AFC contenders. Do you A, go all in on stopping Mahomes, or B, go all in on putting up as many points as possible? Tim, which strategy do you like best?
I'm going to try to stop Mahomes, and I actually think that's really not what you needed to do. I think a lot of people stopped Mahomes last year, and it was the defense that played great. But I just don't think what we're going to see out of Kansas City going forward is Mahomes and that offense struggling in future years the way they did this past year. Look, he's going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks of all time. His head coach and play caller is one of the best all time already. And so I just think that, if you play the long game of, okay, how do you dethrone Kansas City, in the AFC, I think it always is going to come down to stopping Patrick Mahomes. So, look, scoring points will be important all the time, all of that stuff. But, trying to go toe for toe to them, I think is a bad plan in the future.
Well, to your point, Tim, there's historical reference with building and bolstering your defense to give them the most problems. You think about the 2 Super Bowls that they've lost here recently. Obviously, Tampa Bay destroyed that offensive line. Kansas City went out that following year, did a lot free agency, and they came back strong. And then Philly this year. Not only do you have to get after Patrick Mahomes, they sacked him 6 times in this game, but they also picked him off twice. So bolstering your defense has proven to, at least in the big game, become a major factor in beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, to your point, Tim, they haven't been their best on offense, and they are going to get that figured out and put more weapons around Pat. But ultimately, that's the answer, as we see it right now, is to be able to get after him and turn the football over. And the 2 teams that won Super Bowls against him did it.
If they keep winning, we just get to keep seeing Darlington freezing there in sub-zero temperatures, which is really, really fun in the postseason. Yes.